whole complex of not wanting to be heard. The sad part about it is that many of the mental illnesses for women deal with what we call mood disorders, like being depressed, having maybe a bipolar condition, being manic and things like that. And so what happens is that society have mislabeled that and crazy, strange women, and that's what they go their hormones is raging, that sort of thing. In fact, that's not the case. The one thing to be aware of when it comes to mental illness in women is that at least women talk about it. Women go to their primary care physicians. But the one thing that tends to be problematic is even the primary care physician. So a lot of the experiences that women have with regard to depression and some mood conditions may be a byproduct of thyroid conditions and things like that. So it's always, when I see someone, particularly a young woman, I say, did you have your labs and what did the thyroid test say? Because a lot of physicians don't do that. So in terms of the stigma, is just that, particularly within Black communities, Black women are viewed as being the matriarch of the family. They're strong. They have to have multiple jobs. They keep the family together. So they don't want to be seen as someone who may have certain mental health challenges and things like that, or an illness. The whole term illness is a turnoff and problematic because it's a byproduct of a biological or medical condition. I much prefer to look at things in terms of health and wellness and that sort of stuff. You mentioned one of my areas is stress-related disorder. Women tend to have a high rate, not as high as men, but they tend to have maybe 10 to 20 times more unsuccessful attempts at suicide than men. Men tend to be more lethal when they engage in acts, so they'll shoot themselves or have a car accident. I do believe sometimes when you see a lot of the interactions like gang warfare and things like that, when you look at it and look at what actually has happened, you gotta say, maybe, was that a wise decision there? Or maybe they really are looking towards getting hurt or killed. In fact, years ago, I moved away from working with adolescents because it was too stressful, because they were dying in my practice. It was pretty heartfelt, because to have somebody, a young African-American male, come in your office and say, hey man, doc, I'm not gonna live as long as you are, and I know that, and that's problematic. What do you do about it? Now, unfortunately, as a profession and as a field, we've not developed treatments that will allow a person to stay in treatment. We've done well, but then there are certain community initiatives that I think would be important. I think the churches have to get involved in it. With the church that I'm belong with, I'm trying to get Yale Medical School and the church to kind of collaborate in dealing with substance use and that sort of thing. That would be a challenge, but I think we have to move more towards collaborating with the churches. Another area that I think it's really fruitful and should produce a lot of gain is the barbershop. Men go to barbershops and they talk. It's not therapeutic, but they talk. They get it out, their system, they verbalize their experiences. And I think the barbershop or that environment would be a good experience if we could kind of collaborate as a profession with the barbershop and having not like a clinical session, but just have an opportunity for men to talk. One reason that the women live longer is because y'all's ability to talk and y'all ability to get it out. Y'all could go on Martyr and sit there strange and talk